So here's the start of the car audio system, or I should say motorcycle audio system for the BMW K1200LT. This guy here is a leftover. It's MD SW2601 Small Wonder Series amplifier from MD Sound. I had kind of a wholesale connection with these guys quite some time ago. It's a pretty skookum little amp for the size of it. It's very small. There's 80 amps of fuses there. It's 180 watts RMS into 4 ohms and pretty close to 300 RMS into 2 ohms. We're going to power a JBL 10-inch sub with it. The nice thing about this amp is that on the bottom side you've got your low pass filter and your gain settings, and also has an optional remote, RCA inputs, pretty big power and speaker outputs on the back side here. I just got this guy today. It's JBL. It's a 10-inch GT5-10, which is there on the box. This is from Sonics Electronics in the US, and this is actually a pretty hefty little unit. It's I believe it's a 2-inch voice coil, 10-inch. Well, it says 275 watts, but I don't know about that. I mean, it's got some good venting on the motor here. Unfortunately, the cables aren't into the spider, which I prefer on high excursion stuff. But there's good venting here. The magnet's quite skookum. Actually, it says 250 RMS. Who cares about the peak? That means absolutely nothing. Anyway. But that's going to mount in the top case, basically upside down like this, and facing in between the two, the bottom of the top case and the rest of the motorcycle. I'm probably going to have to space that out a bit. This is CMS1 Clarion. I got it refurbed for 150 bucks US. They're typically over 225 US. It's a marine mechanism-less source unit. And the BMW one I have is fried. There you go, CMS1. Owner's manual instructions, cables, fasteners, everything there. This is the remote, which is kind of cool. It's completely waterproof. Has the cable coming out the back, and it comes with a cable for the unit itself here. Could correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's about 10 feet or something like that. So you can actually mount the remote anywhere else in the boat or your vehicle or whatever. I don't know about 10 feet, but it looks fairly long. Like I said, it's completely waterproof. There's 4 mounting screws on the back here. There's also 2 other screws if you're going to mount it to something. There's like a foam edge on there so that it'll mount rattle free. The buttons are a little clicky, but large enough that you'll be able to work all these buttons with a pair of gloves on the motorcycle. So that's going to go on top of the tank, and the rest of it here is this separate remote unit. It's actually quite a bit lighter than a regular single DIN car stereo. Actually, there's a reset button on the front here. Essentially, it's just a little computer. It's got there's a cable I've ordered for iPhone, iPod connectivity, and it has RCA outputs, RCA inputs, antenna, and this neat thing about this also has weather radio. So if you're traveling on the motorcycle, it's kind of a good idea to get your weather forecasts and whatnot, similar to a boat. So there's also another optional remote controller that you can do in the case of a boat, where you have this one mounted on the by the steering pilot area, and then you can get another remote that also plugs in there. That would be, for instance, down in the cuddy of your boat, or somewhere where you're also entertaining with a second set of speakers or something like that. So pretty cool. So we're going to see how all that mounts up on the BMW in the next little while here, and I'll update part